Greetings and salutations. It's Dave Duford here at davidduford.com, where help insurance agents like you become top producing insurance professionals. Thank you for joining me on yet another role-playing hot seat training. So I got an email, or me and the agent on the line here had a conversation, I believe, last week about doing some role-playing over the entirety of the sales presentation. Typically what we do in these calls is cover one particular section at a time with multiple people. But because we do these role playings multiple times a week, I figured it would be a nice switch up to one of those dates to actually have an agent go through an entire sales presentation, and then at particular intervals start to critique and improve any of the script that needs it. So first of all, for any of you that would be interested in doing an entire presentation with me, let me know, and I will be happy to have you on either Tuesday or Friday, and we can do an entire sales presentation. I think the rest of you, it'll also benefit just to hear it in its entirety and to kind of, get an idea of what to expect, especially if you haven't done this yet. So let's go ahead and start this show. Mr. Morrow, are you there, sir? Let's see here. Morrow, if
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yourself?
Hello.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Sorry.
can hear you.
My speaker was down, so I can hear you now. So Morrow has volunteered to be our guinea pig. New concept. Should be good. So I'm going to play prospect. Morrow's going to play agent. And think what I'm going to do this time, Morrow, just so you know what to expect, I'm going to let you do the entire sales presentation. I'm not going to stop and interject. You'll see me take notes as we progress. At the very end is when I'm going to start offering some critiques.
Oh, wow. All right. Huh.
Yeah. So that way we focus on, I think, what really the core aspects we need to improve, as opposed to just breaking it up and losing momentum. So we'll see how this is. We may change it up next time, but let's just start like that. So if you want to start me from the door knock or wherever you want to, let's get going.
All right. Yeah, let's do the door knock, and so that way I can try to get over rebuttals at the door.
Let's do it. Okay.
Knock, 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 knock.
Hello, who's knocking at my door?
Hi, my name is Morrow Eel. I'm here because you spoke to someone at my office a couple weeks ago, and you requested that you wanted to get more information about our final expense burial programs. Do you remember doing that?
Not really.
Well, yeah, they said that your favorite hobby was fishing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that phone call.
And then I had another lady call and just confirming the appointment. She said that it was all right for me to come over at around 1 o'clock today.
Oh, okay. That's what this is about. Okay, I understand. Yeah, you can come on in.
And here's my license. Like I said, I will show you at the door.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Come on.
Do you want to sit in the kitchen or the dining room?
Kitchen's fine. Let me just push all this crap off of the table here so you have a place to put your stuff.
Yeah, great. That's when I have a place to sit down, put everything. Yeah. So what I usually like to do before I do anything, like I said, my name is Morrow Eel. It says right here on my license, and you can see my license right here. As it says, I've been licensed since 2018. So I've been doing this for a little while. And what makes me different is that I'm a broker. And what that means to you is that basically I represent most of the main carriers that work in this industry, and I'm able to basically shop around to get the best prices and the best coverage for someone looking for burial coverage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. So you're like you're like a car sales or a car insurance guy, right?
No. So what we do is strictly burial insurance for seniors.
Yeah, right. I understand that, but like car insurance, people seem to like sell different products. So I see what you're saying, though.
Yeah. Basically, my whole purpose of doing that is just to make sure that I get the client the best bang for their buck. So whether it's the
Okay.
most coverage for the lowest prices, that's usually the goal I'm shooting for. It's the highest coverage
Oh,
for
okay. So
the lowest price.
you're selling insurance. So what's this going to run me? I'm on a fixed income.
Well, so that's a question that most people ask, and it really depends on, you know, age and health. And I'm going to get to exactly what that would be. I just have to ask a couple questions first.
Okay.
But my first question to you is this. What were your thoughts and concerns when you when you agreed to have the person have me come over here?
Yeah, I guess, I'm not getting any younger. I'm 85. And, I figured at this age, need to
Be
start
a good
thinking about this stuff.
be a good time to get this covered. Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. That's a good idea. And yeah, a lot of the people I meet with, they're basically in one of three situations. They're either a person who doesn't have any coverage at all, and they know that, like you said, it's a good time to kind of get something on the books just to make sure that their family is protected. They don't have to worry about having, the burden to pay once they pass. And a lot of people fall into that category, but some people fall into a second category where they have some coverage. They might have got it a while ago, and they know, because the price of everything goes up, that what they have just isn't enough, and they would like to get, just add on a little bit more, and see if they can just basically get enough to cover them for what the cost is today. And some people actually, they're happy with the amount of coverage, but they just know they're paying too much, and they just want to kind of shop around and see if they can get a better deal. But there are actually some people also that they have, adequate coverage. They're happy with the price, but they just want to add on a little bit to leave a legacy to their grandkids or children or whatever. Now, which one of these three categories would you say your closest match you?
Uh, you know, I've got insurance, if that's what you're asking me. I've got some life insurance.
But you just feel like it's probably just not enough.
Um, I guess that's my question, I bought this plan quite a while ago, and you know, I know prices are higher than what they were when I was a younger man. So I'm just worried that do I have enough is my point.
Gotcha. So yeah, so once we take a look at it, I can actually go through it with you line by line and show you exactly what you have, and if there is a possibility for you to qualify for something else, I'll definitely let you know.
Okay.
But if what you have is fine, then I'll just have you leave that and be on my way. Sound
Okay.
good?
Sure.
All right. So like I said, these programs are mostly based on, age, health, and any kind of medications you're taking. Um, so in terms of this policy, what would you want a policy to do for you?
Oh, I want to make sure. My main concern is I don't want my kids to pay for my burial. I'd like to leave some money behind, and just have something to remember me by. But that's pretty much what I want to accomplish.
So are you thinking about being buried or cremated?
Yeah, man, I don't know. Um, on one hand, cremation is less expensive. On the other hand, you know, I don't get to burn twice. If I'm
Yeah,
buried.
I mean, and, and you know what I'm finding more and more is that a lot of people are choosing cremation simply because they feel it's a cheaper option.
Yeah,
But
I
if
agree.
someone could get a policy that could cover a full burial and it's a reasonable price, most people that I meet with are willing to do that. Is that kind of how you're feeling? If you can get something you can afford, you'd be willing to
Yeah,
do a
I mean,
burial?
I don't know if I'm going to decide today. Uh, Yeah. So what you're saying, I should get something that would cover both circumstances and just make sure it's affordable. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, essentially what I'm trying to get at is, a lot of people just choose cremation because they feel like it's the cheaper option because they just don't know that there are other options available to them to cover a full burial.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, yeah, I'd be open-minded to that. That's fine.
all right, cool. Um, so basically, I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, just ask a couple basic health questions, just kind of see exactly what you qualify for.
Sure.
Kind of go from
Okay.
there. All right. Now, so we were, but before we do that, we're speaking about the cost of burial and cremations. Are you familiar with approximately what that costs nowadays?
Well, I remember back in the 1950s when we buried my mom, it was like $1,000. It was pretty nice. I'm sure it's a little more than that.
Yeah, things have gone up a little bit since then. Actually, about 10 times as much. But yes,
10 times.
the average nowadays is for burial somewhere between 7 to 12,000, depending on
Really? Wow. Okay.
fancy you want to get, and the average cremation is somewhere between 3 to 7,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. It kind of gives
Why such a large range?
well, it really depends on what kind of things you want. Some people like gold line caskets, and some people like flowers from David's bridal and everything. So it's one of those kind of things where it really depends on what you really want. But
Okay.
if you got somewhere in the neighborhood of around 8 to 10,000, that should cover it. For
Yeah,
burial.
like here, Mauro, this is how I am. Like, I don't want my family to spend a ton of money on a burial. I hate the idea of sending $15,000, $12,000 straight into a hole. I'm not going to know what kind of box I'm in. You might as well give me the plywood cardboard for all I care about.
Yeah, and I understand a lot. Some people feel that way too, but the issue is the ceremony. It's not really for you. It's about
Yeah.
your family and how they would want to send you off. You
Right.
know, your family isn't really going to be happy putting you in plywood. They're going to kind of want to have you in a more dignified situation. Probably want to have people. They might even want to have people fly out from different areas. So
Okay. Yeah.
it's one of those kind of things where it's it's never a bad idea to have more than you think you might need.
Okay, that makes sense. I still often come back and haunt them if they blow a lot on it. That's all I do.
Yeah. But yeah, so in relation to final expenses, have you ever had to bury someone recently or know anything about like a burial or anything like that
Oh yeah,
recently?
my wife passed away 3 years ago. So yeah, I remember.
Oh wow. Sorry to hear that. And did she have coverage in place?
She did. Yeah, we had, how much do we have? 10,000. All I know is I didn't have any sort of expense I had to worry
Oh, great. And it's kind of essentially what we would like to see if we can try to qualify you for is basically just to have enough so that your kids don't have to worry about the financial burden.
about.
They
Yeah.
won't have to pay for anything out of pocket. They'll just be able to get a check from the company, and they'll have the only thing they'll have to worry about is grieving and not the stress of how we're going to pay for this.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah,
That's how it was with our policy, when we had the 10,000, I just, the funeral home took care of it because they knew they were paid. I didn't have to worry about, I make a low Social Security income. I don't have a lot of money in savings, so it made life a lot easier for sure.
and that's exactly how it should be for your kids too, because to lose a parent is a really tough. I've
Yeah.
experienced that in the past, and it's really tough. And I don't know how our family would have been able to handle it if we were worried about my father being in the hospital and having to figure out how we were going to pay for everything. So it's really comforting. I can give you firsthand experience. It's really comforting to know that at least that part is taken care of.
Right.
So in terms of your health, Have you ever had any serious conditions like cancer or stroke or anything like that?
None of that. No, I've not had cancer or strokes. Mm-mm.
All right, great. So let me just kind of go through a couple questions that the companies require that I ask.
Sure.
Some might sound a little strange, but I'm just going
Sure.
to do them just to kind of check all the bases.
Yeah.
Are you smoker or non-smoker?
I don't smoke.
Oh, great. All right. And what's your height and weight?
6'1", 185.
Great. Have you ever had any lung diseases like COPD, emphysema, asthma?
No. Oh, asthma. I have had asthma.
So do you use a CPAP at night?
No, nothing like that. Mm-mm.
Just a nebulizer?
Not even that. Yeah, I mean, it's seasonal. When the trees bloom, I can't breathe. So I got an
Gotcha.
inhaler a couple months of the year. That's it.
Oh, so you do have an inhaler, all right, but you don't ever need to use oxygen or anything?
No.
Oh, cool. All right, great. And then you ever had any diabetes or pre-diabetic? Just a
Nope.
touch? No. All right, great. And in terms of, so you said no cancer ever.
Mm-mm.
All right, and have you ever had any family history of cancer in the immediate family?
My wife died from cancer. Yeah.
Oh wow, sorry to hear that. More so thinking about like blood related, but
Yeah, not that I can I can recall. I don't think my parents didn't have it. Mm.
gotcha. Any kidney issues like insufficiency? Ever been on dialysis? No, nothing.
Kidneys are good.
Great. What about liver issues like cirrhosis, hepatitis, anything
Nope.
like that?
Mm-mm. Nope.
All right. So in terms of your heart, how's your ticker going? Is it pretty strong?
Fine now.
So you've had issues with your heart in the past, like strokes or seizures or anything like that?
Uh,
Pacemaker?
they thought I had a stroke 3 years ago.
All right.
I couldn't see. My arms started getting numb, so it took me to the
Mm.
hospital.
All
I'm
right.
pretty sure that I had a stroke. It wasn't serious. I wasn't, incapacitated, in a wheelchair or anything. I just
Did
had
the
to
doctor the doctor mention something called a TIA? Is that what you're?
maybe that might have been it. I just know it wasn't. I've seen friends that have had strokes and they can't talk, they can't move, and mine was never
Yeah.
that
It
serious.
wasn't permanently debilitating. It was just kind of a
Yeah.
mini stroke is what they're called.
And well, perhaps, yeah, I'm not sure of the name, but yeah, 3 years ago, something like
So
that is what happened. Mhm.
3 years ago. All right. And did they give you any medications based on
Yeah,
that?
I take Plavix, blood thinner.
All right. And that's the only medication you had for that specific instance.
Yeah. Mhm.
Would you mind actually grabbing your medications from me since we're talking about it, just to kind of make sure that we have all the bases covered?
Sure, yeah. Let me go wrap them. Okay, here you go.
All right, great. So I'm just going to take a look at these in a second, but I have a couple more quick questions. Any sort of neurological issues like lupus, sclerosis, Parkinson's,
Nope.
Eric's? No,
Nope.
great. And in terms of, have you ever had any depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, dementia?
Yeah, depression for sure, especially after my wife died.
And that's very understandable. But would they consider that like clinical, or was it just based on that event?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still taking, I think it's called citalopram. I think it's like just a basic anxiety medication.
So
So
that's this pill right here. So it's
yeah.
All right, gotcha. Understandable. Now, have you ever been hospitalized in the last 2 years?
No, just not since the stroke.
Gotcha. All right, so if we just kind of basically summarize everything. So the only issues that you can really think about in the past 3 to 5 years is stroke, and that's pretty much it, and the asthma.
Yeah, That's about right.
Nothing else you can think of? All right, great. So I just have two more quick questions. The first question deals with the way payment is done with these companies. As everything is digital nowadays. My watch is digital. I'm using this tablet. Everything is kind of digital. They kind of just go through. They kind of just go through the checking account, just take it right out. Most days is most months. Just make it simpler for you. Make sure you don't have to worry about any overdrafts, because I understand how much people hate overdrafts. I hate them myself. So they kind of just want to make sure that the payment is taken out without any overdrafts or anything like that. Is that pretty fair for you? Is that cool with you?
I don't have a checking account. Is that what you're asking me?
Oh, you don't have a checking account?
Can I just mail in a premium every month?
Well, unfortunately, these companies require that we do it with a checking account, or if you have a direct express account, we can do that.
Yeah, that's what I've got. I've got that green card.
The little green card. All right, great. That's fine. Most of the companies are fine with that. They just want to have a card that they can, make it simplified for you and simplify for them.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
All right, great. And then the last question I have is in relation to what the companies, what's this actually going to run you? So most of the people that I sit down with, they're all either on some fixed income of some sort, whether it's Social Security, disability. They just have one check every month, and they want to make that check last for the entire month. I understand that a lot of people that I sit down with, some of them have more month than money, and I don't want to be, a cause to make that issue worse. So that's another reason why I'm a broker, so I can get the best prices for the best coverage for the best price.
Sure.
So let me ask you this: so if you were to decide on something today, would you be able to afford something in the 150 to 200 range?
Golly, that's expensive. No, man. Do I look rich?
Well, no, and that's fine. That's some of the companies would cost that much, but like I said, I have a lot of different
I can't
companies.
pay that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, and I totally understand that is a little bit of a high price, but some seniors do require that much coverage. But if I could get you qualified for a different program somewhere between 75 and 100, would that be more comfortable for your budget?
Oh, so there are plans that are less expensive. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I have a lot of different plans, a lot of different options. So if I could qualify for
Yeah,
a different,
I probably could afford that. I think.
you think so? All right. That's great. So when you say you think so, that kind of sounds like you're not really 100%
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know. I mean, like the 100 seems a little high. 75, maybe 60 to 75. It just depends on what you show me as far as coverage goes. I can do 60 at least.
Right. So how about this? If we were to find something somewhere in the neighborhood between 50 to 75, let's just see what those options would be, and
Yeah.
just see what you think about it.
Okay. Okay.
All right, great. So that's kind of what we'll run through here. Now the next thing I want to just kind of go over with you is, I like to educate clients just so that way, even if you decide not to do anything today, you'll have more information about the companies and how these things work.
Right.
So in terms of, I'm sure you get a bunch of mail ever since you turned 65 from these companies.
Yeah. Do I ever?
And
Start right in the round file.
Globe, Globe Life, and so these are companies that they have huge marketing budgets, and they're sending mail to people, and there's a lot of fine print with these companies. They just don't really say on the commercial. They have the Jeopardy guy saying, oh, you can have coverage for as low as $10 a month, but they have the fine print at the bottom of the screen. You need a magnifying glass to see. So let me just show you some of the documentation from AARP. Here's one from AARP, and here's one from Globe. And do you see the part that I highlighted? down the bottom, you have to use do you have a magnifying glass? I can show it to you right here.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not
so,
that blind.
so if you see down here where I highlighted, it says these programs only last until age 80. Were you aware of that?
No. No, wait a minute. I couldn't even get this plan if I wanted to. Is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. So since you're over 8, yeah,
Well,
you
that's
can,
crap. I don't want that then.
yeah, and that's the way a lot of the term companies work. They kind of sucker you in with the low price, but then they don't tell you that they're going to end at 80. Then also, if you look at this other section down here that I highlighted, what does that say? It goes up every 5 years. In
Oh, wow.
5 years,
Yeah.
and once one agent told me a story of how this lady was paying $50 a month for like 3 or 4 years, and then as soon as she turned 75, it went up to $140. Can you believe that?
Wow. Yeah. No, I couldn't do that, man. I'd be mad.
And so I hesitate to say that these companies might be trying to, push people out, but it kind of seems that way.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
I don't understand why anybody would buy a plan like that if they
well,
knew.
see, that's the issue, is that a lot of them just don't know. The people that sell these companies, usually they buy them over the phone or through the mail, and they don't go over all the fine print with them.
Sure. Sure.
Kind of one of those things where it's kind of like a bait and switch.
Yeah.
They have celebrities talking to you that you might recognize from back in the day. And so another type of insurance that they have is the guaranteed acceptance. Have you ever heard Alex Trebek talking about guaranteed acceptance?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Alex Trebek insurance. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so they say guaranteed acceptance, never goes up, and it sounds really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times I find that sometimes things are a little too good to be true. So what they don't tell you about that is that, um, did you know that with companies like Colonial Penn and Physicians Mutual, they actually have a 2-year wait before you're actually covered?
What do you mean?
So essentially, for the first 2 years, you're paying premiums and you're not fully covered. If you were to die in those first 2 years, the only thing that would give you back is what you paid into it plus a little bit of percentage. So say, for example, you passed away in the first year, you maybe paid, $600 into it. That's all you would get back is $600 plus a little bit of interest. Now, would that do you feel like that would be enough to bury you?
No, that's ridiculous. That's crazy too. What is with all this insurance garbage?
Yeah, and so like I said, I'm showing you here on the back of the actual documentation from the company. This isn't just something I'm making up. This is what the companies show in their fine print.
Right.
But of course, they just don't tell you.
Right.
So let me tell you about what I do. Uh, it's called Simplified Issue Whole Life, and
Okay.
with essentially my program, it's basically what you see is what you get. What it would be from today, it will be the same for the rest of your life. The price never goes up, the coverage never ends, and if you qualify, you can get coverage from day one as soon as you make your first premium. Does that sound now, out of these three programs that I described, the term that ends at 80, the Colonial Penn that you have to wait 2 years before you're covered, or the whole life that I offer that's first day full coverage, which one of those do you feel like is a better fit for what you're looking
Well, yours, duh.
for? Yeah, and a lot of people, I'd like to just ask that question just to kind of make sure we're all on the same page, because some people do want term, and I kind of just like to educate them on why it may not
Sure.
be the best option for them.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate that. I didn't know any of this stuff. You just buy whatever someone tells you to because you're not an insurance agent. And I didn't realize this. It's crazy.
And yeah, like I said, that's why I like to educate all my clients, just to let them know, what's really going on. So what do you like best about the option that I offer?
I just that it won't cancel, and you mentioned the budget. That's good. I mean, I like the fact I don't have to pay any more premium. I can budget it if it makes sense in that budget range I gave you. And, I just don't want to fool around. It sounds like that's what this plan does, is just give me peace of mind. Keep it easy.
Yeah, essentially, it's just life insurance without all the funny business. There's no, fine print. There's no issues. Um, so if you just give me now that I have all your information here, if you just give me like 3 or 4 minutes, I'm just gonna run through all of this information that you gave, and just kind of see what programs you qualify for, just to kind of give you some options and see what's available.
Yeah, and go ahead and just off script here. Just act as if you found a company. It's less important about what company it is. So just keep going there. Just imagine you've got it and you're ready to proceed.
Gotcha. All right, so I found a company here. It's called Prosperity Life. They're out of Texas, and they've been around for several decades. And the reason I chose this company is because they give you the best options for the health issues that we've talked about, the stroke and everything, the asthma. So those aren't an issue to this company. It may have been an issue to some of the other companies that I have, but it's not an issue for this company. So they're able to give you the best price for the best coverage. And here's one of their brochures as well.
Okay, thank you.
Information. So like I said, for this company, it's coverage from the first day. You can cancel or reduce due to age or health, and you don't have to worry about the price ever going up. So let me just take a couple quick questions just to ask you the health questions from their app. And off script, I don't actually have their app.
That's all right. Just imagine I say no to everything.
Gotcha. All right. So what I'm gonna show you here is 3 options in the range that you discussed. So there's one for 50, one for 60, and one for 70. And that would give you 7,000, 8,000, and 9,000 in coverage.
Okay.
Which one of these options works best for you?
I'm gonna have to think about it.
Oh, all right. No, that's great. Um, this is something that you should think about. This is a really important decision. So when you say you want to think about it, um, are you most concerned about the price or about the coverage?
Well, both. Yeah, I'm both.
All right. So in terms of so are you feeling like the 50 is a little bit too high for you?
No, I could do that.
You do
50.
the 50. You do the 50.
Mm-hmm.
And so you said you're also concerned about the coverage as well.
Yeah. So, it looks like because I'm 85, I'm only getting 3,000 in coverage here at $50 a month. Even if I went to 70, it only takes me to 5,000. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, and I mean the reality is these programs are based on age and health, and the older you get, the more expensive they are, unfortunately. But the key here is that, you know, on the day that you pass, I'm sure that your children would probably prefer to have some coverage than have nothing at all. Wouldn't you agree? Even if it's not the full, to be able to cover the full amount, I think it would probably be a good idea for them to have something as opposed to having them try to figure out how they're going to come up with the whole 10,000. You know, it's better to try to come up with 5,000 than it would be to come up with
I don't
10,000.
know, man. If I do the math here and $600 a year, I'll have 3,000 in 5 years.
And that's true, but are you 100% sure that you're not going to die before then?
I don't know. I don't know.
And see, that's the thing about life insurance is that the life insurance that I offer, there's no gambling involved. You know, you may live past that point in time, or you may not. Nobody knows. You know, so if you were to get this coverage today, the first day after you make your first payment, if you get hit by a bus, you're covered. You don't have to worry about gambling on, you know, I hope I live to this age. And it's one of those kind of things where it just gives you the peace of mind that you're really looking for. So like I said, I feel like the 5,000 would probably be a good idea. You don't think so?
It's just a budget thing. 70 is too expensive for me.
Gotcha. So how about we get this started at the lower amount and just kind of get things going from the lower amount and just see how it fits your budget for a year. You know, you can always add coverage later on if you'd like.
Okay.
But let's start at the lower amount and just kind of work from there.
Okay.
All right, great. So who do you want your beneficiary to be?
Do I have to decide now?
Well, you have to put someone now, but you can always change it later on to be whoever you want it to be. It's just that the company requires that we put someone down
Okay.
right now.
Yeah, my daughter.
Gotcha. The most responsible child, I guess, is what.
Yeah, right. The rest of them are wild.
Yeah, great. All right, so we'll put down your daughter here. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this part earlier, but in terms of payment, we don't need any money today.
Okay.
I can actually put this out as far as 30 days. So when do you get your check? Is it third, first, or second?
Well, let's see. I just got paid yesterday. It's February 4th, so I don't get paid till the 3rd of each month.
Oh, great. All right. Well, so then you'll be comfortable putting this for the 3rd of next month.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
All right, great. Now, in terms of so off script, so is there anything else that we really have to
No. This is a good place to start or stop, and then I've got you can see all these here. So,
oh wow,
are you ready?
Ouch.
I would say, let me give you my general assessment. I would say this was a A- presentation. Okay, this is very good. It's very well scripted to what I like to see. There's a few things that can use refinement, and I think that will happen naturally over time as you do this and you do more of it and you kind of develop a pattern. So it's understandable if you're explaining things too much, if you will, or too verbose. It wasn't that bad, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to, go over the deep end here, but there's some refinement we can do. I'll cover that. There's one important thing you missed, which we'll start with a little bit earlier on.
All right.
To do here, unless you got any questions for me, I'm just going to walk through each of these sections here and then kind of give you my opinions.
No, let's just go step by step.
Okay. So when you door knocked and I said, what are you here for? You asked, said your favorite hobby is fishing. Okay. So this is important because if you're using a telemarketed lead and you door knock, the memory recall rate's a lot lower. So you always want to refer to the the favorite hobby or favorite color, whatever's on the lead, that is going to jog memories a lot better. So always make sure that you use that, and you did. That was good. You asked if you wanted to sit at the kitchen table. I would prefer if you go ahead and direct them to the kitchen table. So you said, do you mind if we sit, would you prefer to sit at the kitchen table or the couch? If you're going to ask, I would say, hey, do you mind if we go to the kitchen table? So just go ahead and start. The reason we do that is it's a psychological, I don't say ploy, but strategy. We start the leading process, right? We're going to go to the kitchen table. We're going to go to the couch. It's less about where to go as much as it is you telling the person what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and actually, so I had a presentation last week, and the guy was like, "Oh, we can sit right here in the living room." I was like, "Oh, do you have a table you can sit at?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, we can just sit in the kitchen."
Yeah, yeah. So that way you kind of take control, and that's, again, good sales presentations are all about taking control. Okay, introduction. I like using the term tell and show, not show and tell, but tell and show, which is where you tell them something, but then you validate it with some kind of tangible evidence. So this is kind of a recurring theme you want to insert wherever you can, primarily because selling insurance is intangible. You can't feel and touch life insurance, especially. You got to kick the bucket before it's any good. So you want to try to, it's not like driving a car where you get in, you smell the car, you touch the car, you feel the rev of the engine. There's a lot more of a visceral, tangible experience there. With insurance, it's just an idea, it's a concept. So you want to try to insert things along the sales presentation to connect the tangibility to it. And in this section, in the introduction section, you did that. You told them you're licensed and you showed them that you're licensed. So that was good. I recommend all you guys starting to do that, okay? Partially because it dispels the skepticism. You know, okay, who is this guy? Is he a scammer? I mean, you're thinking, well, they think that about me? Yeah, sure. You know, assume the worst and plan for the best. So show them that you're licensed. Get your license laminated down at FedEx Kinko's. Carry that with you. Otherwise, it'll get all dog-eared and worn out.
Yeah, also I wear the lanyard too.
Yeah, the lanyard. So the lanyard's the thing around the neck. And then it should be like a mugshot plus your licensing information. Or you can take the smaller, in some states, there's a small card version of your license. You can just laminate that.
I have both, actually.
And again, yeah, lanyards, again, this is like the badge effect, right? You know, it's like if you think about a cop, you know, they wear the shiny star and, you know, they've got the suit on. It portrays an officialness to it, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to leverage using a lanyard. It makes us look official, okay? That makes us look maybe a step ahead of the guy that shows up with nothing. So show and tell, we covered that. Okay, quick scripting change just in the introduction section.
Sure.
Here's what I say. My name is David Duford. I'm a licensed life insurance agent, have been since 2011. I've helped over 1,500 people with their life insurance since I started. What makes me different is that I'm an insurance broker. And what that means, and everything up to this point was fine with what you're saying, but this is where I would change. What this means is that I have access to all the carriers that can help my clients get the best coverage.
I forgot that part.
Yeah. So just access. Why do we say access? Because if you said something like, I'm appointed to most companies, and that's not wrong. I just think access, you can say I have access to everything because you do. Access doesn't mean you are appointed. That's a little, fine line there, right? So I think it just sounds a little bit better to say access. I
just forgot that part.
I
just got the sheet laminated, so okay. I have it. I just forgot to say it.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Knee-jerk objection, you did that very well. Again, the knee-jerk objection was, can you just tell me what it costs? Never fall for that at any point in the sales presentation until the very end when you're ready to deliver the price. The truth is, none of us know what this is going to run, right, until we've gathered the facts. So it's really wrong to try to give a price, an accurate price at least, to somebody who's wondering. And you said as much. Let me ask you some health questions. I'll definitely answer that. And for rational people, that's 100% acceptable. So you did fine there. I think the best job that you did, but this is where the mess up happened. The best job that you did was in the pre-qualification section. This is a very good display of effective open-ended questions and then dealing with some of the initial resistance that I had. So let's recap that. So you asked the first question, what were your thoughts and concerns when you requested this information? That's the most important question to ask. You did that. I gave a non-answer. I'm getting older, you know, probably should start thinking about this. That's not what we're looking for. So if we don't get specific facts, like eventually what I said is, yeah, my wife died. It was expensive. It was crazy, but the life insurance is there. It made life easier. We're looking for that kind of emotional response. But if we get some kind of like non-response, then you follow up with what Maura did, which was the 3 questions routine. This goes from an open-ended to a specific pathway of 3 different options to put our prospects into. Work on refining this script a little bit more, Maura.
All right.
Make it a little bit more simple. So let me give you an example. I would say something like, okay, so yeah, you're not getting any younger. I get it. So there's really 3 reasons I found, Mr. Jones, that people fill out these cards and request information. The first is they don't have any coverage. And if they die, it's on a kid or somebody they love, and they don't want that. The second situation is they've got some coverage, but not enough because prices have gone up and they're concerned about making sure to cover that. And the last situation is they want to leave money behind. They've got plenty of coverage, but maybe they want to leave a grandkid or a special kid behind. Just a little money, make life easier. My question to you is, which one of these do you best fit into? So that's a lot more compact and it delivers the main concepts. So I would refine it down to that level. Other than that, I mean, you hit on all the important points in that. So conceptually it would work fine. So we talked about the 3 questions. You did that well. You said something I think is useful. I would say these are called damaging admissions. This is used in sales calls. It's used in sales letters, marketing material. It's a damaging admission is something where it's surprising that you would admit a flaw, or you would admit that, you know, this may not turn out a particular way that the assumption is that you would want. So you said something along the lines of, hey, look, all I'm going to do today is see what you qualify for. If I can't help you with a better plan, then we'll just shake hands and wrap up and no harm done. That's a good thing to say at different, and that conceptually is good to say at different ranges, because everybody expects a salesperson to sell indiscriminately, right? But when you say that, you know, you may not sell, it's a takeaway, which increases the desire to buy, but it's honest. And that's refreshing. You know, most salespeople aren't going to admit they may not sell you because it's not in your best interest. But that in turn develops rapport, a special kind of rapport and trust. So I would go through, I would think about where you can say things like damaging admission. Hey, term insurance is the cheapest option you have, but here's why it may not be a good idea. Admitting that there's something that's cheaper than what you do is good. It's surprising, but then when you provide context, they appreciate that and understand that cheaper is not always better. Let's see what else. Even guaranteed issue, you know, hey, look, the best plan this is for is somebody who's on their deathbed. They can't qualify for anything else. But you're not that, you know, so like say things like that, that'll surprise people. And it'll be refreshing, and as far as your admission of honesty. And again, that builds rapport, really like substantive rapport. On that note, I will say that I think you did not do any rapport building whatsoever at the beginning. No chit chat, how's the weather, what's that fish doing on the wall over there kind of stuff. And you know, I think you should do a little of that. I want my client to laugh or chuckle before I proceed. It may take me 20, 30 seconds, but I want them to be at ease, okay, as quickly as possible. So you think of questions you can ask in the rapport building section. You don't have to get crazy and spend 20 minutes learning a life history. But, you know, ask about where did you work? Do you have grandkids? How does it feel to be retired? You'll get a lot of good responses like that. What to do when they aren't sure for burial and cremation. Yeah, you did a good job here doing that. So with this section, I responded, I don't know if I'm going to get buried or cremated. And my response to that was, your response to that was, let's just get you something that will cover both. And that's fine. A lot of people who don't know aren't going to know after you leave either. So you don't want to be in a position where you force a policy that's too little, potentially. Hold on one second here. I got this baby beating my door down, so 1 second.
Hi.
Okay, thank you for your patience. So, yeah, we covered, you made the offer, not contingent on making a decision, but enough to do either or, if it's possible budget-wise. And yeah, you're just overall, everybody listening to this, go back on the recording and listening to the conversation and the pre-qualification question. It was very good. There was a lot of substantive context provided about dying and the concerns and the desire for peace of mind. This is so important to plant this idea into your client's mind and to bring out this conversation. It's significant, it's meaningful, and you should always intentionally do this with every single call to the extent that you can. Some people don't talk a lot, that's fine, but don't not do it. So that was really good. So where did you screw up in this section? Does anybody know? I'll call on the audience here. What did Maura not do that was so important? Just going to wait a few seconds to see if anybody answers. Just a couple of notes here. Health, make sure that you get the name of the inhaler. I don't know if you ask for the prescription bottles, but also get the name of the inhaler.
All right.
I would also ask if the client takes nitroglycerin.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Because I may have been prescribed it, but forgot about it because I never take it.
Especially because of the heart thing. Yeah, I got you.
Exactly. So back to what did we not do? Did I have existing coverage or not?
Oh, yes, you did.
Yeah.
You didn't do a policy review. Crap.
Yeah. So that was out of everything here, that was the thing that needed to be covered. Why do we need to know what they have? Because we can make a
defense.
Yes, we can make a pitch or a better pitch why it's good to pick up more coverage, or possibly in some cases why you can do a better job than what they have. The truth is, going into the close in this example, Mauro, you didn't know if I had 2,000 or 2 million in coverage, right? And having that knowledge is really important on knowing how to position what you're doing. You know, like let's say I had 5,000 in coverage, and my offer was for $50 for 3,000. And then I gave you the heat of, oh, yeah, I need to think about this. It's kind of a low ball amount. I can save it up. You could say everything you did, but you can also say, hey, look, the nice thing with this, you got 5,000. That's not enough to bury you. Your kids will come out of pocket. But if you take this 3,000 up, you're covered. You have total peace of mind. You don't need any more. This will accomplish the goal. And if something happens to you earlier than expected, you're covered. Sounds good, right? So it kind of just helps reinforce the sale and the reason why. So, so make sure you ask for the policy, do a review, see what they've got, price, coverage, amounts. Do that on every sales call.
Yeah.
It will develop you better as a salesperson, as an insurance agent, and will help you close more, not just by replacements, but giving better reasons why people should take action today.
And I said I was going to go over it with him, but I just totally forgot to dig more. Yeah.
That's okay. So I'm going to try to get through the rest of these. Probably go 5 minutes long, guys. It's 9:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Banking question. Yeah, just the bank question. So Mr. Jones, refined this scripting. So everybody I talked to, so the way billing works, Mr. Jones, is the companies require that we set up a bank draft, or if you've got a direct express, which one of those do you use? Just kind of shorten that down a little bit. If you get resistance, and you did this, blame the companies. I don't want a checking draft. That's fine. I understand. But look, don't kill the messenger. The insurance companies all require this now. If you want insurance, they have to set up a bank draft, or you can pay 3 months at a time. I mean, could you afford a couple $100 every quarter? No. Okay, well then let's just set it up to when it's convenient for you. So that's how you want to deal with that. The money question, asking for the premium, you did a good job buttering it up. I don't want to take more than you can handle kind of stuff. So listen to that again if you guys want to go into see what I mean. Budget qualification question is good. Presentation, great. You did a great job here. You included stories explaining the concepts of term insurance. Remember, with guaranteed issue, there's just no coverage for natural death for 2 years. You are 100% covered for accidental death. So just change that. You had said you're not covered for 2 years. So important to be accurate there. When you get to your section, you want to flesh out the benefits. Okay. So you did if you think about term, guaranteed issue, and then yours was probably, what we do represented 10% of the time, whereas 90% of the time was explaining the other stuff. It's not that you want to have it 90% of the time us and 10% them. You just want to spend more time fleshing out the benefits. So the way I do it is I say, look, so let me tell you what I can qualify for. The company or the coverage I can qualify for is called final expense whole life insurance. Mr. Jones, it's super simple how this works. First of all, the rates never go up. That means you'll never be faced with a letter that comes in the mail when you turn 90 that the price has gone up by 5 times. It's as certain as the sunrise. Second of all, you're fully covered from the first day. That means if you die by natural causes, accidental causes, doesn't matter. No matter what the reason you pass away, from the first payment, you're entirely 100% covered. You know exactly that you have peace of mind. And last but not least, this never cancels because of age or health. So if you're 85 today and you make it to 105, what you've got today is exactly the same as what it will be in the future. Absolutely no way you can lose your coverage. So bottom line, this is what you see is what you get. You've made a really good comment, which is, this is life insurance without the funny business. I think that's genius. I would use that kind of like little saying all the time. I say what you see is what you get. You know exactly what you're paying. It's not going away. It's never going up in price. And you can have total peace of mind. So that's how if you can compare that to what you did, Mauro, there's a lot more detail in there, if you probably would agree. It's worth, this is where you want to sell if you want to look that way. Because what we do is way better than the garbage the other guys do, naturally.
And that's kind of the reason why I didn't go into it as much, is because if I already cleared the other two off the table, it's kind of like ours is kind of like a no-brainer. But I see what you mean about making it more in depth. But I figured if those two were already off the table, I didn't really have to go into a bunch of detail. But
right. And I would argue, and you're not wrong, I would argue we've sold them on not buying the other guys. We need to sell them on buying us. And just because you don't sell the other guy, or you sell them on not buying them, doesn't mean they're sold on buying from us. So
they could still be on the fence. I got you.
Yeah. You did the trial close. Which one of these works best for you? What do you like about it? That's very good. You got hot button verbiage, hot button reasons why I'd want to buy something. The offer was good. You made I think you made a recommendation to pick one. Actually, I don't think you did. I would say, okay, so here's the 3 prices. My recommendation is to pick this. And what you recommend doesn't matter. Base it off of what they say. That's the solution there. So
yeah, I didn't do that part. I just said which one is best for you.
Right. And that's not wrong. It's just a little bit better to make a recommendation because you're a professional. You're an advisor. You should make recommendations.
Gotcha.
Rebuttal. I prefer agents. What you did wasn't wrong, but I prefer you to say, hey, that's fine if you need to think about it. But when you say that, how do you mean? I prefer an open-ended question to start because it facilitates conversation. What you said was, so what is the problem? Is the problem with the price or the coverage? It might not be with either. It probably is, but I would prefer an open-ended way to arrive at a substantive conclusion than at this point a closed-ended one.
And you said both, so I didn't really have a rebuttal for that. I was just kind of like,
Yeah, well, that's what I said after you said that. I'm saying before you ask, but when you said, okay, that's fine, you need to think about it. My point is at that point, before I said both, you want to say, so how do you mean?
Yeah.
Then I would have said something like, well, you know, I mean, I can afford the 50 bucks. So then I would give you more substance, you know, more context to both. Both is not a good explanation, obviously. And you got to it anyway. So, couple of kind of principles to always flesh out in your objections is the concept of tomorrow is not promised. Hey, look, Mr. Jones, I know you think you can save this money, but do you know what's going to happen to you in 5 years? Do you know you're going to be around? Do you know what's going to happen to you tomorrow, the next hour? I'm sure you've met people who have died suddenly. And here's the thing. Tomorrow is not promised. We don't know what's going to come down the pipe, but we know something right now, and you're healthy enough to qualify for this, and you can get approved today and get coverage to protect the people you love. So something like that's good, just driving home the main point. You did use a very good thing that helps people get over the hump. They're like, I don't know, that's not a lot of coverage. I thought I could get more. You said, hey, that's fine. Why don't we think about it like this? Let's look at this as a starter program. Let's reassess in 6 or 12 months when we can add more coverage. Once you know how this fits in your budget, we can always add more later. So that helps sell the deal if it's not as much as they want. And it's important because, again, with our audience, our clientele, we're selling a product that people want a fixed income, right? So many times they have to accept what they don't want because of their financial limitations. So being able to sell that is routinely a good thing to do. All right. Oh, when you ask for billing, always assume Social Security deposit billing. Yeah, Richard asked, couldn't do that in this case. Wrong. Actually, Aetna and Security National will cover up to 89 and 90 respectively. So you could possibly get them coverage from one of those companies. So it's not wrong to say that. If they were at 90, and I'd be like, look, you're 90, you're never getting anything else. You better get as much as you want now. So okay, not in your market. You don't have Aetna or Security National? Okay. What state do you live in? Aetna's up there. It's American Continental on the quoter, by the way. Security National isn't. So if you look at American Continental, run some quotes on my quoter, you'll see you can get up to 89. You're saying they don't have the final expense product up there? Okay. Okay. So yeah. So just make sure you say, okay, great, Mr. Jones. I got you. Just say, hey, Mr. Jones, no problem. Let's set up your budget for, when do you get your check? On the 3rd? Okay. So we just do a draft on whatever your deposit date is. So if you get paid on the 3rd, we'll just draft it same day or a little bit after. So draft on the same day of your deposit, not on the 3rd. So just make sure to clarify. But
all right.
Social Security billing is the easiest way to increase your persistency, 5 or 10%. It will make a huge difference, and it's worth closing on this presumed SSB if you're using Prosperity or Trinity Life, family benefit, that kind of thing.
All right.
So Dave, is Social Security billing different than Direct Express?
Well, so most carriers that do Direct Express billing have that are required to do it on a Social Security deposit basis. So if they take Direct Express, they'll likely only draft it on the 1st, 3rd of the month, and then also 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of what the deposit date is, not the numerical date. If you got any follow-up questions, feel free to ask. Okay. Moral? You got any questions for
Yep.
me?
Still
Oh,
there.
did a good job.
No, it's just a couple things that I just kind of forgot to say that
That's
I
okay.
would have said, but I just
Better to forget here than out there with the real life
yeah,
prospect.
exactly.
Money's on the line.
This is very helpful to kind of go through the whole
Good.
thing.
Good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up. So if you want to do something like this, please email me. I'm happy to do this with anybody. We would look at next week sometime, either Tuesday or Friday. So I'm going to be actually looking for one of you guys to contribute and be willing to be put on the hot seat. I think hearing the script like this repetitively over and over again is fundamental. It's how we get better when we repeat the same basic stuff over and over and over. Yes, it may get boring. Yes, it may get repetitive, but it's incredibly valuable because it will help you execute on what fundamentally matters the most in this business. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Reach out anytime I can help. Y'all take care. See you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Maura.